What really is MatDeck, and how does it compare to softwares in the same field? The main difference is that when you work in a MatDeck document, you don't only confine and limit yourself to the field you started with, but rather you can let your work develop and grow, as MatDeck will organize your thoughts while also letting you think outside the box. This is all thanks to the fact that you can mix various fields and areas together. For example, you can mix programming with data acquisition, digital signal processing, control, engineering, mathematics, but also with sciences such as chemistry, physics, biology, and medicine. And this is all done while utilizing the no-code toolboxes and solutions, which will allow you to easily get the answers and work you are looking for without the extensive need of experience or knowledge of coding, but rather with a few simple clicks. And this all starts with MatDeck's what you see is what you get documentation. Rather than just telling you about our documentation and how you can combine all these fields together without the need for a different software or without losing any of the specialized MatDeck features, we can show you one of the countless examples found on our website. In these examples, you can see how MatDeck effortlessly and fluidly combines different fields but also different features such as code, matrices, and other mathematical objects, as well as functions and no-code toolboxes and solutions such as this graph or this signal envelope graph. And as well, here you can see the functions. As we go on, you can see even more different features, but also different fields. Here we have a 3D graph, and here we now have drawings. This example takes on a much more presentation-based look. As you can see, we have neatly arranged rectangles and also arrows to clearly show what we are trying to see. Then also we have a different field here in electronics, and then we go into nuclear fission. And then different fields also come after, such as chemistry. And here in the filtering examples, we can see no-code toolboxes and solutions. Here we see one for microphone testing. Here we see another one. This shows just the versatility and also how many features MatDeck can combine in just one document without losing any speciality or quality in any of those fields. Here now we can see chemical functions in the same document as toolboxes that can be used for data acquisition, and also here we can now see some artificial intelligence with these functions, and the list goes on and on, just showing how much can truly fit in just one MatDeck document. And now in this example, you can see how all of this is combined, but also we can see how MatDeck is a live document that allows you to change and edit your code in real time while it is still running. So now, when I click evaluate, we can see how the graph will automatically plot itself. Now, if I were to make any changes to the graph, that would be reflected in this graph here. Here also is another simple yet extremely useful no-code solution, which is the graphs. And these graphs can be used in any matter of field. So as you can see, in just one MatDeck document, you can utilize a variety of fields and no-code solutions or toolboxes, as well as hundreds of MatDeck functions. And this can all be done to allow you to organize your thoughts with the pristine presentation while also keeping your work efficient and also correct, but not too complicated. After seeing those countless examples of how MatDeck helps to organize your thoughts with its documentation, we can now focus in on special circumstances and fields such as chemistry, physics, biology, medicine, and more. This can be done with the hydrostatics examples. Here, as you can see, we have an image which easily and also quickly depicts what we are trying to do. And then here we also have a solution. As you can see, the amount of work actually done in this solution is minimal, and the text above and beneath it ensure that what is trying to be obtained is easily conveyed to the reader. The same goes for this boiling elevation example. This example is more about chemistry and is more in depth, but instantly we can see this no-code solution, which allows you to obtain the molecular image, UPAC or common name, as well as the SMILE string and molecular formula by just typing in the name. No code is needed, no connection to any chemical database is needed to be done by the user. It is all instantly done without the need of any code or functions. And from here you can export all this information as variables to be used with other functions. And here we also have the use of formula templates, which is an incredibly useful formula that is already written in MatDeck and can just be inserted into the canvas to be used. Here we also have things such as the units, which finally allow us to get our final value in Kelvin, which is 351. This is all done on one page, and as you can see, the text here automatically tells us what is going on and what is trying to be done. With these examples, you can see how MatDeck combines all these fields into one document and gives the user ultimate freedom and control over their work. For example, in the programming field, you can mix together text, code, graphs, GUIs, and more. You can also mix between Python code and MatDeck code. With the MatDeck document, you can also have your input and output on the same page instead of needing one window for your output. This is also the same for all MatDeck IDEs, including the Python ones. Here we can see an example of an IDE which features auto suggestions and autocorrect, as well as a debugger depending on the library that is used. And just like the library that is used, we also have a no-code GUI designer which automatically generates the code that you will create for any widgets or any customization. All GUI designers work with a drag and drop concept, which means that when you click on a widget and then click on the canvas, the widget will automatically be placed there. You can also customize these widgets. And then finally, when you like the app appearance or UI, you can just click done and this will automatically generate the code. To see the generated code, you just need to click on these three dots here, and from there you can see all the code that has been generated that you didn't have to write. The Kiwi, Tinker, and PySci2 GUI designer all also use the Python language, which is incredibly easy to use and learn, making it perfect for creating GUIs. All this code was automatically generated by the GUI designer, so now when we click evaluate, we'll be able to see what we have created. And this is the GUI that has been created by the generated code. Again, all this code has been generated by the GUI designer, leading to a no-code solution for both Mac, iOS, Android, and also Windows and Linux, just from one library and one GUI designer. There are also several different GUI designers, such as one for Tinker, Kiwi, PySci2, as well as the MatDeck Simplified C. However, even with all these fields, MatDeck can be used in so many more, such as engineering and mathematics. A good example of this could perhaps be the system stability, which can also be found on the MatDeck website. Here, we take an engineering approach to a problem and then find a solution with the use of MatDeck's images, but also with this easy to use syntax for mathematics and code. And as you can see, here finally we do find the answer. MatDeck can also be used with array-fire functions to allow for the GPU to be utilized in most computers. Here we can see how it's used for SVD decomposition using OpenCL. Here we can see all of the types that we can use, and then beneath we can see if the backend is set up. And then finally, we can then utilize this additional processing power from the GPU to do an SVD composition to get our final answer. Another field in which MatDeck can be used in is data acquisition, digital signal processing, control testing, and more. An example of how MatDeck is perfect for this is the spectrogram example. Here you can see how minimal lines of codes are used to obtain answers and solutions, and a lot of no-code GUIs are used to allow to display these answers. But again, the majority of these lines of code are either variable definitions, such as the number of samples or the overlapping samples, or calling a simple function such as spectrogram, which automatically gives you a simplistic view for what the function does. The same goes for this example below. And here we have a chirp signal and also a 3D graph, which has all been created with minimal lines of code. This is just one of countless examples of how MatDeck can be used in fields such as digital signal processing, but can be also used for data acquisition, as you can connect to hundreds of devices using GUIs and no-code toolboxes. You can also then use Virtument, MatDeck's own virtual instrumentation panel. The Virtument panel itself looks like this. The panel is fully interactive and uses channels to send and receive data in real time. For the majority of its use, Virtument is a no-code toolbox. However, for more complex examples, code can be written in the MatDeck document. Just like Virtument, MatDeck SCADA can also be used for data acquisition, control, as well as input and output, meaning that it can not only receive and visualize data, but also send data through channels.
This is done using the SCADA tag manager, which is this form. Here, with the SCADA tag manager, you can see all the channels which send and receive data. You can also record the data being sent along these channels using the log button. It allows you to record this data to either a database file or a .txt file. Naturally, with both SCADA and VHMan, you can connect to devices using a configuration form. This allows you to set up the device and then export the channels, all without writing a single line of code using these menus. And then once you export the channels will appear here, and also they will appear as channels in both VHMan and SCADA, allowing you to set them up with any instruments. Then finally, when all channels are exported and customized, you can use the start button to start the SCADA panel. Now we can see what the SCADA panel looks like here, with it both sending information but also receiving and displaying information. Finally, with all these different examples in all these different fields, you can see how MatDeck lets you organize your thoughts and gives you perfect documentation to intertwine all these fields into one document to provide the ultimate solution with the most efficient possible workspace.